Hari Om and welcome everybody to today's session. Next evening we have our Guru Purnima that is coming up, and it's very important to get on track and en route. And it is very exciting to have more than 1,528 people register for this session and show up today to listen to Swami Mitranandaji talk to us. And like I earlier mentioned to you guys, it's very important to get en route and get our tracks right before we set on foot in any of the pursuits that we take up. So a very warm welcome to everybody present here on that note. Now, let me introduce our speaker for today, Swami Mitranandaji. So Swami Mitranandaji is the direct disciple of Swami Chinmayanandaji, and he's the mentor and convener of Chinmaya Mission Chennai and Northeast India. He initiated the movement youth empowerment program and has trained over 600 youngsters across the world to serve Indian knowledge traditions for 1 year in urban and rural parts of India. Swami Mitrananda is a creative writer, daring adventure, vigilant administrator, has traveled across 35 countries to impart the wisdom of Gita, Upanishads, and other Vedantic texts. He was a part of Team Chinmaya in aiding government of Gujarat in creating 21 lessons on Bhagavad Gita, part of a curriculum for classes 6, 7, and 8. He's also part of the team creating new curriculum of value education for government of Assam. He spearheaded the combined team of Vidya Bharati and Chinmaya Mission in writing new history books for classes 6, 7, and 8, namely Radiant Bharat, Resilient Bharat, and Resurgent Bharat. He's also working with the Madhya Pradesh government as a mentor for the Ekatmadam project on Adi Shankaracharya coming up at Omkareshwar. He has also written the script for the movie on Adi Shankara that will be produced by the government of Madhya Pradesh. He also founded Chinmaya Academy for Civil Services, which aims to create leaders for good governance, and the list goes on and on and on. But personally, Swami Mitranandaji is a friend indeed and a friend in need. So he always is there for the youngsters and for everybody whenever we have an issue, and he guides us properly in our way. With no further ado, I hand over the session to Swamiji to take over. Swamiji, the session is yours.
Samasta jana kalyane naratham karunamayam namami chinmayam devam sadgurum brahmavitvaram. My salutations to Swami Anukulananda and to everyone listening to me. Namaskar. Guru means a person who is qualified to teach and guide. From Upanishadic standpoint, an ideal guru is one who has experienced the divine and who can articulate it. The technical terms for that is Shrotriya and Brahmanishta. Shrotriya, one who is well read, has read the Shastras and also can articulate about it. Brahmanishta is one who has experienced the truth. So ideal teacher for us, ideal guru, would be a person who not only experienced the divine, but also can articulate it. There are many people who articulate the scriptures, but the experience of the divine is still not experienced. So it's not from Anubhav, but it is from what they believe in scriptures. They are just Shrotriyas. And there are a few brilliant people who have reached the truth, but could not articulate it. They find it very hard. So people who can tune to their silence, people who can tune to their stillness, they can benefit. Only such high-level students can benefit from them. But rarely we come across a person who not only has experienced the truth, experienced the divine, and also to articulate about it. For us, in Chinmaya Mission, we are very fortunate. We had Gurudev who had these two qualifications, who not only knew the divine, but he could also articulate. And he was one of the most fascinating teachers of this century. The vision, what he had is he gave us the best. I'll tell you in simple ways what Gurudev did to us as a guru. The books which can take us to divine are Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutra. These books are called Prasthanatraya, three main books. He made sure that we learn these books. See, Hindu culture is very fortunate. We have an ocean of books, a library of books. We're not just one book or two, like we have a library. There are Vedas. The last portion of the Vedas are Upanishads. There is Puranas. And there are Prakarana Krantas. And there are books on Tantra. It goes on. There are so many books. But authorities on the spiritual path considered these three books, Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutra, as the main books which can lead one to truth. So Gurudev picked up those best books and gave it to us. So among the entire library of books, what is the best one can give us? He picked that up. And that is what the knowledge we received. So the teacher who loved and picked up some of the finest books to guide us. Second, in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna mentions in chapter 4, there are many types of yajna. Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga, goes on explaining various things. In that, Krishna says jnana yajna is the best. Among different kinds of yajna, jnana yajna is what Krishna says as the best. And Gurudev picked up this jnana yajna and gave it to us. What is jnana yajna? Jnana yajna means the old ignorance, what we live in, gets slowly burnt with the newly received knowledge. When the new knowledge dawns on us, the old ignorance which was been with us for a while gets slowly burnt down. So in receiving new knowledge, the old ignorant lifestyle gets burnt down. So among yajnas, Gurudev gave us jnana yajna. That is the best, what Krishna himself says. And the final one comes in chapter 18, where Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna, fortunate are those who listen, who can read this dialogue between you and me, who listens to it, reads it, or people who support this dialogue. That is what Krishna and Arjuna spoke. Fortunate are those who can spread that kind of a dialogue, the discussion around. So he says, those who do this are the fortunate ones. Now, what Krishna goes there to say is, among the devotees, one who shares this knowledge, one who supports this knowledge, are the best. Guys, try to understand. To become a devotee is difficult. To become a devotee, we have to lose our selfishness. And once that selfishness goes from us, we become a devotee. Among devotees, the best. Now, come on, to become a devotee is hard, but among devotees, you can become the best. How do you become the best? When you support the Bhagavad Gita, when you teach the Bhagavad Gita. Supporting, all of us do that work, not necessarily somebody speaks, but even for someone to speak something, imagine the entire team which is working for it. So all the workers in our organization, somewhere or other, are supporting spreading of knowledge. So whoever lends a support to spread and preserve this knowledge, they become the best among devotees. Now, do you realize a person who just walked into our life, what he has given us? The best of the books, the best of the yajna, and to make us the best of the devotee. Now, when you hear this And when you contemplate, after some time, there will be a deep sense of gratitude for such a person who came into our life. That gratitude towards that person and trying to support what he has given us is our expression of devotion to the Guru. It is not just doing puja to the padukas. It is not just doing one day Guru Purnima celebration or just celebrating May 8th. That is not all. The padukas himself, if we see, on which the Guru stands, that is what we worship. It is not the padukas we worship. The padukas represents the ideal on which the Guru stands. So what is the ideal the Guru stands on? In a very simple way for you to remember, he got awakened to the truth, Brahmanishta, and he articulated it so well, Shrotriya, so that you and I wake up. Get awakened and wake up others. That is what the padukas are. Get awakened. And he was awakened. So one paduka is got awakened. Second paduka, what did he do? Shrotriya, went around teaching others. Now you share this knowledge to wake up others. So when we go and prostrate to that padukas, we prostrate to this ideal of Shrotriya and Brahmanishta. Get awakened and wake up others. By doing this, we preserve and promote the knowledge. We become the best of the devotee. Now, with that sense of dedication and gratitude, when we do, that is called Guru Bhakti. Tomorrow is Guru Purnima. So we should invoke the teacher with this bhakti, that he gave us the best of the books, he gave us the best of the methods to do it, Jnana Yajna, and he showed us the way to become the best of the devotee. So once we realize that someone who has come into our life has lifted us up to this point or guided us to get there with a deep sense of gratitude, we offer our prayers, we invoke, and we will start worshipping the padukas with the spirit, get awakened and wake up others. That should be our ideal whenever we prostrate, whenever we touch the padukas of the Guru. And why tomorrow, Guru Purnima? There was a brilliant, one of the brilliant minds the world has ever seen is Bhagwan Vyasa. It's a rarest of people one could see. Vyasa was a revolutionary. Prior to Vyasa, Vedas were all explained one generation to another verbally. We had a verbal tradition. One teacher memorizes the entire Vedas, imparts it to a group of students. The group of students listen to the teacher, repeat it again and again and memorize. In India, we had this tradition, knowledge imparted verbally, generations together, thousands of years. Please remember, the earth we live, humans walking on this earth is at least for 2 lakh years. The modern science has accepted it. It's not 4,000 years ago the mankind came up on earth. For us, the earth is 4 billion years old, and humans, the Homo sapiens, walked on this earth 2 lakh years ago minimum. So the Vedic knowledge which we talk could be easily 20,000-30,000 years. For few thousand years, not just 1 or 2 centuries, few thousand years, the traditional approach in Bharat was the student teaches to the teacher teaches to the student memorizes it and hands it over to the next generation in the same way. So our transmitting knowledge was always through verbal tradition. You memorize it, store it in your head, and give it to the next generation. They memorize it, they store it, and they pass it down. This is how we have been passing down the knowledge for a few thousand years. And over a long period of time, it is natural, the power to memorize slowly disappeared. To regain everything became difficult. So the ability to retain everything in the memory was on the decline. Now that is dangerous. Few words can be mispronounced. Few slokas could be intermingled. And some of it we could simply forget. So Vyasa, the revolutionary, felt, if this tradition which we have followed for so long, if we still go by it, Vedas could be lost. People may not have it at all. Imagine a precious knowledge like Vedas lost. If that Brahma Vidya is lost, world has no hope. That's why, that is one of the reasons why Bharat has to be on top. Why Bharat was seen as Vishwaguru. Not just because we had 32% of world's GDP once upon a time. We were a rich country. We had 32% of the world's GDP. Not because of that richness, we were Vishwaguru. We were Vishwaguru because we had this Brahma Vidya with us. People looked up to us. Okay. So if the Vedas are lost, that beautiful knowledge is lost, mankind has to struggle. So Vyasa took a very bold decision. He said, so far what has been traditionally done, memory, passing down through verbal tradition, he said, it has to come down now to the written tradition. And he's the one who gathered all his disciples and he said, let's move a little away from our tradition because we are losing now. People are losing the ability to memorize. It is better we write it down. He called his disciples, took a revolutionary stand, started writing down the Vedic knowledge for the first time. That's why he is called Veda Vyasa. Imagine the man compiled, not composed, compiled 4 Vedas, wrote the Puranas, and wrote a very beautiful text called Brahma Sutra. Sutra, aphorism, one-liners. Brahma Sutra, a collection of one-liners talking about the highest, the divine. So without Vyasa, we can't think about Vedas, nor Puranas, or the Brahma Sutras, or even the Mahabharata. Mahabharata, the epic, has 1 lakh verses, in which there is Bhagavad Gita also. This is also Vyasas contribution. Vyasa has also written a smaller version of Valmiki's Ramayana that is called Adhyatma Ramayana. So if you see Ramayana, Vyasa has Adhyatma Ramayana. Mahabharata, you have Vyasa's hand there. Compiling Vedas, Vyasa is there. 18 Puranas, Vyasa is there. This is the richness of Hindu literature. If that is taken away, there is no Hindu literature. So Vyasa contributed this much to us. So our elders, forefathers, the wise people who walked upon this earth, they said, the day we should offer our gratitude to our Guru, Guru Purnima, should be Vyasa Purnima, Vyasa's birthday. Vyasa Jayanti, let us celebrate as Guru Purnima. That's how Vyasa's birthday has become Guru Purnima. And such a brilliant person, his birthday for so many thousand years now is celebrated as Guru Purnima. So on this day, we remember Vyasa and the teachers who were before Vyasa and the teachers who were there after Vyasa, up to Gurudev, we remember. And we offer our respects to him. So Guru Purnima is our traditional Hindu festival where we offer our gratitude to the teacher who came into our life and gave us the highest knowledge. Even in chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is also the motto for Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, Gurudev chose this verse as the motto for Chinmaya Yuva Kendra. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. Can you repeat? Not the people sitting here, the ones who are listening. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. That is Chick motto. You should know it by heart. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. Look at this beautiful line which Gurudev said, let it be part of the Chick statement. What does that mean? Nahi jnanena sadrisham. There is no other knowledge, pavitra, purifier, highest, the best, here in this world than this spiritual knowledge. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. Understand, O Arjuna, there is nothing more sacred upon this earth than this knowledge. We can call somebody wise person, someone learned, vidwan, people who have done grades of studies, but nothing can be more sacred than this spiritual knowledge. This is what India is meant for, Bharat is meant for. This knowledge we need to share with the world. And honestly speaking, we must feel very fortunate that this kind of a sacred knowledge manifested in this country, here, and we are the inheritance. We have inherited it from our forefathers. It is our responsibility to share it with others. So, we are the custodians of this knowledge. The most sacred, and that kind of a knowledge not available anywhere else. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. You cannot find anything more sacred, more to purify us than this knowledge. So this is the motto Gurudev has given to the youth. Apart from saying, harnessing youth potential through dynamic spirituality, the statement, the verse connected with Yuva Kendra is this. So remembering this, that this knowledge is sacred and all of us have a role in supporting, preserving, promoting it. And the best way to do that would be you yourself should be well read in it. To all the young people who are listening, tomorrow being Guru Purnima, take up one book of Gurudev and start reading it. Maybe in a month's time or in 2 months' time, complete it. 5 to 6 pages a day. So what are the books we can take up of Gurudev's? I'll suggest few books if you have not read them, or even if you have read them, it would be wonderful to read it again, because with a little more matured mind, when you look at the same sentence, the sentence unfolds a different meaning. So Guru Purnima tomorrow, let's rededicate by taking up to the study. You can start with a beautiful book by Gurudev. It is called We Must. That is one book you can start. Or there is another book called As I Think. That is also a fascinating book to read. If you have read it again, please, you can read it once more. Because even today when I read, I go a little more deeper into his words than when I read when I was a Yuva Kendra member. Because a mind which is more reflective, more matured over a period of time, when they see those words, they mean something more deeper than what was understood earlier. So even if you have read these books, I think you can start again tomorrow. We must, as I think, kindle life, self-unfoldment, art of man-making. 5 books. These 5 books can give you a solid base of Chinmaya literature. If you have this as your base, your life is made. You will meet life differently. Your wisdom and your approach would be completely different. What are the books? We must, as I think, kindle life, self-unfoldment, art of man-making. 5. These are all books written by Gurudev Swami Mitranandaji. If this book is your foundation, if these books on which you stand, your life would be completely different. So Guru Purnima, this can be one of the things you can do as your sadhana. And that way, we will also start taking up better quality work, because a deeper reflective mind can perform much better in the world. So in supporting Bharat as the custodians of this knowledge, our contribution could be much more effective. And our presence can inspire people more if we have this content with us. So for Guru Purnima, this commitment would be nice. So we have seen why we celebrate Guru Purnima, because dedication to one of the finest minds the world has ever seen, Vyas. And what did Gurudev personally do to us? He brought us the best of the books, the best of the method, and he also showed us the way by which we can become the best of the devotees. To that teacher, our gratitude would be reading his literature, reflecting upon it, getting rooted. And to his padukas, when we prostrate tomorrow, it should remind us, get awakened and wake up others. That's how we should connect with. Not necessary that a living guru is required. Vivekananda can also be a guru. Shankara can also be a guru. Gurudev can also be a guru, even if you have not met him. That is the tattva. To that knowledge, to that tattva we surrender. Because it's quite rare for us to find a living teacher who's Shrotriya and Brahmanishta. A combination of these two is rare to find. So not necessary that we should have a living teacher. Even to this knowledge, we can. Even today, if you surrender to Vyasa, you can take him as a guru. Ekalavya did that. He did not even meet Dronacharya. He just did, and he could excel. Imagine the kind of skills Ekalavya developed without meeting Drona once. And when he met Drona, Drona, keeping larger interest in mind, asked for the thumb, and so spontaneously Ekalavya gave it. Because that tattva of a teacher whom he did not even meet, but he could stay inspired and reach. So not necessary that we all need, because this is one of the questions I keep getting very often in most of the places I travel, not just me. Many of the teachers also would have got this question. How do I know who's the right guru? Don't search. Vyasa can be a right guru. Shankara can be a right guru. Vivekananda can be a right guru. Gurudev can be a right guru whom you have not met. No issues. Surrender to the tattva, like Ekalavya did. You surrender to that tattva, and one can rise up to that highest. And that way, it will inspire us. It's my last point. Get rooted in his literature. You will serve the nation better, you will serve the organization better, and you will operate with more clarity. I would stop here, and we can now open up for discussion.
Hari Om Swamiji. Thank you for throwing light on so many important points about the Guru and giving us some tips on what sort of sadhana we can do also to develop our attitude and perspective. I'd first like to tell everyone that if you have any questions for Swamiji, please post them on the Zoom chat or the YouTube comment section, along with your name and where you are from. And we will ask the questions to Swamiji, and Swamiji will answer them for you. So please do post them either in the Zoom chat or the YouTube comment section so that we can take them up and ask Swamiji the questions. Swamiji, so the first question is, Swamiji, when we, as long as we're in school or colleges, teachers are given to us. Like we meet our teachers and all that. And when we're done with school or college and we get into the corporate world, or we're trying to figure out what to do with our lives, and we get into the hustle and bustle of things, we're not sure how to choose someone as our guru, or how exactly to go about finding the right guru. So, Swamiji, could you please throw some light on this as well, Swamiji?
See, when you learn something from a teacher at kindergarten, we have a lot of gratitude to the teacher. When we learn something from middle school, different teachers come into our life, we learn from them, they have played a role, we have a gratitude for them. But obviously, you don't take them to the level of worship. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, Swamiji.
Right. We don't take them to the level of worship. Gratitude is there. Thankfulness is there. We don't rise up to take them to the level of worship. We don't keep those teachers in our altar and we pray. We invoke them. We are grateful to them. And there is another section of teachers who show you a way to live life well and to transcend. They are Brahma Vidya. A teacher who gives us knowledge about the reality, the truth, the Lord. To that teacher, we call spiritual guru. That teacher is whom we call a spiritual guru. So we need to understand there would be so many teachers coming into our life, but all of them don't get into the position of worship. But those few people who show us a way out and reach the highest, and show us a way out and guide us to reach the highest, they are called as spiritual teachers. To them, we call Sri Guru, gurudev, that's how we call them. Now, how do I find a teacher? Am I matured enough to understand the teacher? Or am I in a position to know whether this teacher is a Shrotriya and Brahmanishta? Shrotriya, maybe we can check, but Brahmanishta, how do we understand? How do we know this person has experienced the divine? Shrotriya, yes. So Brahmanishta, how do we understand? To understand if he is a Brahmanishta or not, we need to study the books about it. Like, for example, the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the last 18 verses, talk about a person who is steady in the higher wisdom. Sthita Prajna Lakshana. Lakshana, the directions of a person who is rooted in Sthita Prajna. How would he behave? How would he move around? In what kind of a mind he would be? And what is the sadhana we should do to get there is the discussion. Now, unless we know something like that, we can't even understand. So for us to study is very important to know if a person with whom we interact could be in that higher state. So that is a very tricky situation. We may not know whether the person is higher, has realized the highest truth or not. So the best approach would be, you don't have to go and search for a teacher. Keep maturing, keep developing, keep progressing. Continue with your sadhana. When you reach a particular state of mind, you will be able to recognize different levels of evolution of people. So my suggestion would be surrender to the teaching. Gurudev himself has said, I am only a pointer and not the pointed. This is such a powerful statement. I am only a pointer, not the pointed. Don't mistake me as the pointed. See me as a pointer. Meaning, if you want to know the truth, you have to follow the pointer. Come to this point, move in that direction, leaving the pointer behind. Try and understand. You have to, a pointer is pointing towards something. So you start looking at the pointer. You come to the tip of the pointer, leave the pointer, go further in that direction. We may find the truth. No, this pointer is so lovely. And I keep looking at the pointer. What happens? You don't see the truth. This mistake many people do. And there's a very larger population whom we have met many a times. It is their faith. Very sincere people, their faith. They think, like, you put your hand on my head, my problems will go. People meet somebody like me in an airport and they say, no, please put your hand on my head. And my problems will go. How? Even great masters, when they put, not everybody's problems goes. There could be few people. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa touched Vivekananda. And Vivekananda experienced something very rare. And see what the world benefited by that combination. How many other people Ramakrishna Paramahamsa must have touched? What happened? The touch of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa did not transform people. But Vivekananda was a ripe student. For him, something happened. So we cannot take those examples and then you say, put your hand on my head and I'll get transformed. Something nice will happen. Now, this is the level people seek a teacher. You stayed in our house, my house is blessed. When you host a Veda Vyasa, or when you host a Shankara, or when you host a Vivekananda or Gurudev, that presence is completely different than the presence of seekers, sadhaks who can articulate the Shastra. But people have faith of this kind. So anybody they see, they put that teacher who is a seeker, who is still on the way to the pedestal of a Mahatma. Don't get lost there. The books did not teach us to do it, nor did Gurudev teach us to do it. He himself said, I'm only a pointer, not the pointed. And he used to tell us, actually, in many interactions with him, I have seen this, and he would say it laughingly. If somebody comes to you and says, I am enlightened, run. You understand? Run. Run where? Run from that person. No enlightened teacher would ever make a claim, I am enlightened. So there are people who say, I'm enlightened, and they have their Enlightenment Day celebration also. I have seen people, most ridiculous things. This is the day I took sannyas, celebrate that day. What contradiction this is. Sannyas is a day when you drop everything. And that day you're holding for celebration. We are celebrating sannyas days. Read as I think. There's a chapter meant where Gurudev says, beware of cheap gods. Title of an essay in that book, beware of cheap gods. So we, as innocent people, may not be able to choose a right teacher. we may not be. So what would be the best to do? Surrender to the teaching. You don't have to meet the teacher. Surrender to the teaching, and that will transform. These are the time-tested techniques. We have beautiful books. And since you're part of Chinmaya mission, you need to know, in our mission is not a cult. We don't worship people. We have reverence for Gurudev, but it is not that, like everybody comes here, will take an oath under Gurudev. No, it doesn't happen. Initiation is not that. Chinmaya mission is meant to spread knowledge. It's a knowledge-based organization. It is not a cult. So in a knowledge-based organization, the simplest way to understand would be commit to the knowledge. When you have doubt, there are so many seekers, sadhaks, who have read these books well. Meet any one of them, discuss, and they will be able to throw light on the text. Your doubts can be dislodged. That's the role one can play. So please understand, don't try to go and search for a teacher. Surrender to the teaching, everything will be fine. If you are going in search of a living guru, please remember, you should be quite matured enough to understand if that guru who is teaching you is a person who really knows the truth or no. So how do I find a teacher? I would say, pick up books which appeal to you, surrender to the teaching, keep moving that way. You will mature enough. Maybe you will find a companion, another spiritual seeker, probably few steps ahead of you. And that person would be in a position to guide you, saying, yes, I was like this. I moved through this, so you can also go a little way. That way we may get guidance here and there. But to the tattva of a teacher, the teaching of the teacher, if we surrender, that itself is enough. All great teachers did that, isn't it? Vivekananda taught, Shankara taught, and people who are inspired, surrendered, they go. There are so many people I have met in long travel on this path who have taken Vivekananda as their guru, who they have never met Vivekananda in their life. Vivekananda passed away when? 1902. They have taken him as a guru and unfolding perfectly. So for us, surrendering to the teaching is more important than searching for a teacher. And in mission, since most of you are part of the organization, these 5 books which I told you, commit to that and you will see the transformation happening. You will see how the touch of Gurudev through his teaching transforms you. Next question.
Yes, Swamiji. So this is a question from a parent, and the parent is asking, in this world that is ruled by materialism, how can we as parents guide our children to get inspiration from a guru?
See, different types of teachers, different types of organizations are all there. According to the different temperament, people will choose who appeals to them. So first, you need to understand what is the temperament of your child. And based on the temperament, which organization can inspire your child? Connect them that way. Then the child can proceed quickly. If we see the temperament of the child is different and we are connecting the child to a different organization, it is like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It will not work. So the student will feel uninspired. But if the student temperament and that organization matches, then that person may listen to it and move on. This is one aspect. So you need to first understand what is the temperament of your child, what is the aptitude of your child, which organization this child can fit in. That's a study a parent has to do, because you're initiating your child into spiritual knowledge. Please understand your child's aptitude and accordingly find the right organization and initiate them. For someone, it could be just singing and feeling inspired by singing. And there are organizations which does that. They may find the calmness of the mind coming through those bhajans. There are organizations which work hard. They may not even be sannyasis. Could be people in common clothes. Maybe the child's aptitude is towards that. So you as a parent has a responsibility to understand what is the temperament and aptitude of your child. Accordingly, find an organization in which you can connect them. Don't try to mismatch, and that would be difficult. So this is first responsibility. Second, you must bring in samskaras which has to be given from your side. See, remember, the basic samskaras are not given by organizations, not by spiritual teachers. They guide us into the higher. But the preparation to that level is the responsibility of the parent. Parent has a responsibility for it. So that basic samskaras is always gained through the parents. Please remember, it's not that we learned how to celebrate Krishna Jayanti from an organization. We would have got extra significance of it. Krishna Jayanti was celebrated traditionally from family to family. Your parents were following it, and now you are practicing it, and you are inspiring your child to practice it. Saraswati Puja, Makara Sankranti, all the festivals we have are not taught to us. You know, like you did not come to Chinmaya Mission to learn it. In Chinmaya Mission, you would have learned extra significance why we celebrate. But the basic celebration was handed over to you by your forefathers, and it has come to you through your family. So that way, there are certain basic samskaras the parents have to give it to the children. So what are the basics? That if you are already part of an organization, what you find in that organization as the basics, that you share. And make the child understand these are basics which is very important in life, and this cannot be compromised. So there is a role a parent plays in inspiring spirituality into a child. Once that is done, from the family side, you give the basic samskaras, understand the child's temperament and connect him or her accordingly, then the journey could be smooth. What inspired you need not inspire your child. The temperament could be something completely different. So this has inspired me. You also should follow is wrong. Hinduism is not like that. Hinduism has got a variety. So what inspires a person? You need to study what inspires your child and connect your child accordingly. That will help. And don't force. By forcing into an organization which the child is not tuned to, the progress, spiritual progress will be delayed. The temperaments don't match, and we have put them together. How is the child going to grow? It will take time. So you need to keep this in mind. That's a responsibility. Basic samskaras, values, family has to give. Find the aptitude and temperament, and then connect according to that kind of a teacher or that kind of an organization which your child can stay inspired.
Thank you, Swamiji. So the next question is, our culture prescribes the highest reverence for a guru. Is this value going down now? And what should we do as a society to preserve this value?
A real teacher, a highly experienced teacher who knows the truth, who is honest, that person's value will never go down. But we live in a time where all types of people are there. So many people who have taken to this kind of a thing, parading as a guru. Naturally, their behavior and what they speak do not tally. Looking at that person, how do you expect someone to respect? So your question is the respect for the teacher coming down? The real teacher, no respect is going down. The real teacher, it's like a sandalwood, the fragrance will reach. It's like that good flower. It blossoms and the bees come by themselves. But there are all types of people. Their behavior doesn't go with the principles of what they teach. When such a person is there and there is a contradiction and you say, looking at this contradiction, is the respect for the teacher coming down? I think we should congratulate that someone has woken up to something which is fake. So I think we should not compare these two. And this is not new. These kind of people were there all throughout. How did Ravan get to Sita? Fake guru. Dressed himself like a hermit. Wore the ochre color and he went. Sita would not have even turned and looked at somebody else. But this guy came in a disguise completely. Was this not there at Shankara's time? All kinds of gurus. How much disgusting it must have been for even for Shankara walking through them. Jatilo mundi lunchita kesha kashayambara bahukrita vesha udara nimittam. Think. Padmapada said, or Shankara said, it's from Bhaj Govindam. Jatilo mundi, some people wear long hairs, shortened hair or whatever. Jatilo, long hairs, some parade with that. Some people have shaved their head fully and they parade with that. Kashayambara bahukrita vesha, they wear this ochre robe, disguised. Veshaha, not true. Shankara's time it existed. Think. And we had even Naga sadhus. Very interesting they are. Naga sadhus were like an escort, police force. A Naga sadhu has a right to stop someone and question. Let's say someone is walking with the orange robes and you're moving and this guy saw you walking near Gauri Kund, Kedarnath. A Naga was sitting there, he saw you going and he'll say, come here. Naga has a right traditionally to call that person and say, come here, what's your name? Which school of sannyas you were initiated into? What is your Bhiksha mantra? What is your sannyas Diksha mantra? Sannyas Diksha mantra, nobody will share unless you initiate someone into sannyas. That mantra would never be shared to anybody else. But Naga can stop and ask you, what is that? And then he will see. If a person is initiated from this school of thought, this will be his Bhiksha mantra, this is his Diksha mantra, this is what the sadhana is prescribed. He will see all this is telling, okay, you are rightly initiated, you go. Move on. What's your Bhiksha mantra? You say something else. And what's your Diksha mantra? You say something else. That Naga can catch you and saying, what are you faking around? Kashayambara bahukrita veshaha. Who are you cheating? So this kind of wrong teachers existed even in the past. But the good teachers' value was never lost because of them. A teacher at Shankara's time, otherwise why would Bhaj Govindam say Kashayambara bahukrita vesha? At every point of time. People existed, but the genuine ones were naturally respected. Some people can fake around for a while, that doesn't work. So is the respect for the gurus going down? The real teachers would never bother about it. The ones who are very self-conscious for being respected always operates from ego for respect. would feel terribly disturbed because that gets exposed. So we need to understand that we should not force this kind of a respect into a child. Let the child understand the teacher and respect come naturally. Because in today's world, there are all kinds of people, and the same respect, if you do, it will go. If you see, I'll tell you, there's a lovely book of Gurudev's, Bits and Scraps. Is taken from his personal diary, what Swamiji has written in his own diary. Like, Gurudev was a thinker, so he had a book and he would write something. If a nice thought comes, he would write, probably later to expand on it. That is called Scraps and Bits. A very nice book. In that he says, respect but suspect. Please remember, all young people, I'm telling you guys, respect but suspect. Don't accept straight away. Respect, okay, but don't surrender till your doubts are clarified. So, what in this circumstances of all kinds of people parading together, what can one do? Surrender to the teaching. Follow the teaching. Forget the person. Follow the teaching. That will lead you there. So respect for gurus is going down. Gurudev himself has written in that book. Your motto should be hereafter, respect but suspect. Simply don't blindly accept. Keep this in mind. Next. We are running out of time. It's 9. Yep.
Yes. Swamiji, can we have the last question? Can we
Last question. Yes, sure.
Yeah. How to develop a strong connection or relationship with Gurudev? How to develop the unwavering faith on Gurudev is a question by Kriti Kaushik.
If you've heard the full talk, I have answered it already. I have answered this already. Surrender to the teaching. Read those 5 books. It will strengthen you. And watch that movie On a Quest. Read his Nancy Patcher's book, The Journey of the Master. These kind of books will give you insight about what kind of a person Gurudev was. And the teaching will guide you. It's nice through these things. And there's another book also called Every Breath a Teaching. Now, these books will show you how we responded in different situations to different people. Now, they all can be extremely inspiring. So basically, when you want to know someone, you have to read about that person. When you start reading, somewhere you start admiring. When you start admiring, you start loving. The bhakti comes that way. So how Gurudev responded to different things, the movie On a Quest, Journey of the Master, Every Breath a Teaching, these books can help. And the more you start reading, the more you start admiring, and that would bring in love factor. That which you admire, you want to possess. Those qualities which you admire, how he responded at a particular situation, all that can be very inspiring. Like, I'll wind up with one example. It was in Chennai, in Tamarepakkam. We have a temple, Shiva temple there. And Gurudev was walking down the temple. There were stairs. He was coming down. And there's one step which was a little longer for him to get down. And he was by then 75 aged. And he had a problem with his knee also. So he was struggling, and I was standing there. I just extended my hand. Take, like hold my hand. Because an aged person. You would do it to your father, you would do it to your grandfather, or you would do it to anybody. And it's your guru. So naturally you put your hand out there. He held my hand, looked at me, took the hand off. And did a kind of over dramatic and got down by himself, looks at me and says, never depend, walk alone. Now, please understand. Just one incident, but a message for life. Never depend. You want to seek God? You are seeking that truth? Never depend. Walk alone. So whoever titled that book, Every Breath a Teaching, with a person like him, every breath is a teaching. So if you want to connect more to him, these are the sources which are available, which can help you. And you go back to Chinmaya Udghosh, old copies, probably you can ask someone to do this. We have written a series there. Incoming Call, it is called. Incoming Call. Explaining 108 names of Gurudev. Ashtotara, Chinmaya Ashtotara. Om Ajaya Namah, Om Avyaya Namah. In this we have stitched different beautiful responses of him. So going through that will also give you a lot of insights into him. And not because he's my guru, I'm telling you this, but he was one of the finest rishis this country has seen, particularly on the 21st century. I have traveled across and outside India. I have met many people, but to find his class was, I could never see one more. So I think reading his literature will help you to admire him, and learning more about him, how he responded, etc., can keep us very inspired. His books definitely are the way to be tuned with him. It was nice talking to you people. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. We see there are a few more questions, but since we are running out of time, we won't be able to take them. So kindly drop your questions at to this mail ID, info@chinmayayuvakendra.com. So we'll try to save your questions and see how to get back with answers for them. But today's session, talking about today's session, and that tomorrow is Guru Purnima, I feel tomorrow is going to be like the ray of light, and its source just started off today. We just initiated by lighting the lamp for it, probably, to repel the darkness, the ignorance of all our minds, and invoke our gurus who are there to repel our darkness, our ignorance, and gift us with knowledge in life. At this juncture, I would like to thank Swami Mitranandaji, all the Swamis, Brahmacharis, Swaminis, everybody for organizing this, the tech team, and all of you participants here today, this evening, listening to Swamiji speak to us. I wish all of you a very happy Guru Purnima and a journey full of knowledge and seeking. Hope all of you would take up one sankalpa or sadhana like Swamiji had mentioned, and get back to those books and start gearing up to find what's lying ahead for you. So on that note, we would like to thank everybody. Thank you so much. Hari Om.